Hi folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and today we get to talk about one of my favorite Star Wars novels in the entire expanded universe, and that is The Courtship of Princess Leia. This is the first Star Wars book by Dave Wolverton, one of my favorite authors. This came out April 1st of 1994, and so Wolverton, he was really kind of inspired to write this after seeing that Han and Leia were married after the Heir to the Empire novel. And so he was kind of like, oh, there's a story there. Like, there's got to be a story there. And that's what he set out to do, was tell that story. So the novel begins with the Hapes cluster arriving at Chorus, and the Queen Mother of Hapes wants Princess Leia to marry her son, Prince Solder. And so currently the New Republic has their basically their resources are really dwindling at this point. And so Leia is also trying to assist Alderaanian refugees in finding a new home. And so since Solder has wealth, Leia sees this as her duty. You know, Leia's mind has always been in public service, similar to her mom. And so she kind of sees this as it's my duty, it's my obligation to do this, so that then I can have the access and the resources now to serve the people, serve the Republic by marrying a Solder. So Han is not too thrilled about this, obviously. And so he, he's so much so not happy about this that he kidnaps Princess Leia and takes her to Dathomir, which is a huge planet later on in the Star Wars expanded universe. And it's actually the first appearance of the planet is in this book. And so he is under the assumption that he has won the planet in a game of sabacc. And so Dathomir, it's a very big planet in the EU. Basically, by doing this, he's trying to convince Leia to marry him and to be like, hey, like, you should marry someone because you love them and you care about them and you want to do that, not because you have a duty or something like that. And Leia's like, no. And so that's kind of a lot of what it is he's trying to convince her of that. And so it's really good story, really good dialogue, really good conversations between the two. Great writing by Dave Wolverton with Han and Leia. So Luke Skywalker and a Solder end up teaming up and will find them. Basically because Solder is, and even Luke to an extent, is kind of afraid of how a Solder's mom, the Queen Mother, is going to react. She's nuts. My experience with her was in the Young Jedi Knight series. That was the first time I met her, because I read that before I read this, and she was nuts in that series, and she's nuts here in her first appearance. And so they encounter it in this book too, the Witches of Dathomir, which kind of have some connections to the Night Sisters. And so there are so there's some nice throwbacks in here as well. Luke has seen recordings of Yoda and other Jedi encountering them, so that's kind of cool to see that. So basically this big battle erupts on Dathomir in this book. So after the battle, Han and Leia get married, and Princess Solder proposes to one of the Night Sisters, I can never pronounce her name correctly, Tenelial Dijo, who ultimately they will get married, and they will give us Tenel Ka, who I am a lot more familiar with and definitely have a more fondness for, just because of Young Jedi Knights. So ultimately, at the end of the day, is this novel an essential read in your Expanded Universe collection or a reading? Absolutely, yes, it is. You see the marriage of Han and Leia, which is a huge thing here. The official one, as you know, we were kind of set up and faked out in the Jedi Prince series, but you see the official marriage of Han and Leia here. And this plays out future stories in the EU. Obviously, the marriage here, the courtship of Tenelka's parents, because obviously that leads to her existence, and many different plays that the Hapes cluster and all of that will have in future Expanded Universe stories. So definitely essential read for your Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe collection. So anyways, folks, that is all the time I have for today, and I will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library.